My name is Miss Lisa, and today we'll be reading 3 books. The first is The New Dog by Barbara Shookhazen. Miss Pettibone fluffed Tootsie's fur, buffed his nails, and put bows on both ears. "Today is a special day," she said. "Today is your first day with Danny's dog walking group. You're a big dog now. You're big enough to make new friends and learn new things." The excited way she said it made Tootsie wriggle with pleasure. "Be a good dog," Miss Pettibone told Tootsie at the door. "Take care of my precious Tootsie," she told Danny Dougal. The old dogs eyeballed each other. "We'll take good care of him, all right." The biggest snorted. Others nodded. The door closed and Danny introduced Tootsie. "Tootsie, I'd like you to meet Bruiser, the biggest, Rex, the oldest, Fleet, the fastest, Cleo, a blue ribbon winner, Bagels, our chow hound, Trixie, who was with the circus, and Pepe and Pal, the terrier twins." The old dog sniffed Tootsie suspiciously. Tootsie barked and bowed politely, which always pleased Miss Pettibone. His bark came out as a scared squeak. The old dogs howled. "That's enough," Danny said to Tootsie. "Walk," Danny said, without a pat or a pretty please. The old dog stepped out smartly. Tootsie lagged behind and looked in every store window, the way he always did with Miss Pettibone. "Walk," Danny repeated, tugging at Tootsie's leash. "Try to keep up." At the corner there was a mud puddle. The old dog sloshed through it. Tootsie planted his paws and waited to be carried across, the way he always was by Miss Pettibone. "Walk, Tootsie," said Danny. "Pick up your own paws." Tootsie did, and got a pebble in his left paw. "See," Tootsie whimpered and showed Danny. "And no whining," Danny added as he picked out the pebble. Tootsie sulked. Miss Pettibone would have kissed his paw and carried him. "Puppy paws," the old dogs all snorted. "Precious Tootsie. Want to play footsie?" Bruiser smiled and held out his big rough paw. To be friendly, Tootsie held out a small paw. Bruiser smacked it hard, toppling Tootsie into the gutter. Danny didn't see what Bruiser did, but he saw Tootsie's tomato-stained coat and a strand of spaghetti dangling from one ear. "No, Tootsie," Danny scolded. "On the sidewalk, not in the gutter. Together is the way we walk." In the park, the old dogs teased Tootsie when Danny wasn't looking. Rex tail thumped him, and Bagels side bumped him. Fleet ran rings around him and tangled his leash. "How did that happen?" Danny asked, frowning. Cleo totally ignored Tootsie, except for yawning in his face. Pepe and Pal nipped off Tootsie's ear bows, which Trixie juggled behind Danny's back. Danny didn't see that, but he saw Tootsie trying to retrieve them. "Down, Tootsie," he said. "Be a good dog, or I'll have to take you home." As they walked, the old dog snorted, "Puppy paws, precious shrimp. Tootsie Wootsie, what a wimp." As they left the park, Bruiser, the biggest, tease, whispered, "Look in the fountain to see something funny." Tootsie leaned over. As they left the park, Bruiser, the biggest teaser, whispered, "Look in the fountain to see something funny." Tootsie leaned over to look. Bruiser shoved Tootsie into the water and howled. Tootsie emerged yipping and showing his teeth. "For shame, Tootsie," Danny scolded. "You are a naughty dog. I am going to have to take you home immediately and tell Miss Pettibone." Tootsie refused to budge. "Walk," Danny commanded. "I mean it, Tootsie." Tootsie did not walk. "Walk," Danny said louder and pulled harder. Tootsie pulled too, the opposite way. Suddenly there was a loud pop. Then a voice shouted, "Stop!" Stay! Danny yelled at the top of his lungs. Suddenly, there was a loud pop. Then a voice shouted, "Stop! Stay!" Danny yelled at the top of his lungs. Then he yelled, "Down!" and yanked at all the leashes, pulling the dogs behind a parked truck. Tootsie, tired of being scolded and told what to do, resisted. His collar snapped and he bolted free into the street. "Tootsie, come, come, Tootsie!" Danny's voice was now a scream. Tootsie ran right out in front of a man running with a shopping bag. "Out of my way, Fluffermutt!" The mean-looking man snarled and tried to kick Tootsie out of his way. Tootsie snarled back and sank his teeth into the man's leg. "Mad Dog!" the man yelled as he fell. Tootsie held on tightly as sirens screeched, passers-by shrieked, and a policeman raced to the scene. "Don't make a move," the policeman ordered. Tootsie closed his eyes, waiting for the worst. "Anything you say can be held against you." Tootsie heard the words and the click of cold steel, but he felt warm fingers. Tootsie opened his eyes and saw the man. Handcuffed and kicking, he saw Miss Pettibone gasping and starting across the street. Most amazing of all, Tootsie saw the old dog still cowering behind the parked truck. He also saw a puddle of piddle under a shame-faced, droopy-tailed Bruiser. The policeman gently stroked Tootsie and said, "Good, brave dog. You nabbed light-fingered Louie. And the loot. But who do you belong to?" "I don't see a collar." "Me." Miss Pettibone ran up and hugged Tootsie. "My dog-walking group," Danny piped up proudly. "Us!" the old dogs barked and gave Tootsie the tails up sign, all except Bruiser, who was still cowering and trying to cover up his puzzle. Puddle. All except Bruiser, who was still cowering and trying to cover his puddle.
This puzzle.
That night, Tootsie got extra pats, doggy delights, and his pillow plumped by Miss Pettibone. The next day, Tootsie was eager to go with Danny and the old dogs, now new friends. After Tootsie was picked up, a new dog joined the group. He drooled and shook and tried to hide. "Take care of Tiny Timmy," the new dog's owner said. The new dog's person said. It's his first day, and he's shy." The old dog sniffed suspiciously. "We'll take care of him, all right." Bruiser eyeballed the others and snorted. "Not if I take care of him first," Tootsie said. He stepped in front of Bruiser and walked up to the new dog. "Welcome," he said. "Don't worry. Their bluff is bigger than their bite, especially the big ones. You'll do just fine." The next book is I Want a Dog.
I really want to go.
The next book is I Really Want a Dog. I don't know who it's by. Breslow and Sally Blakemore. Okay. The next book is I Really Want a Dog by Susan Breslow and Sally Blakemore. I really want a dog. If I had a dog, I'd always have a best friend. I'd never be lonely. I'd never be sad. I'd always have someone who just loves me. I really want a dog. Woof. Who would feed this dog? Me. Who would walk this dog? Me. Who would train this dog? Sit. Lie down. Fetch. Stay. Good dog. Off. Come. Me. And who would keep this dog healthy and clean? Me, me, me. Go get a dog. What kind of dog? Female, male, puppy, grown-up, small, medium, large, humongous, shaggy, curly, spotted, two-toned, sporty, soulful, frisky, nervous, friendly, shy, fearless, speedy, famous. How will I know? You'll know. I want a dog. He sure does. I want one too. Kitty! We've got lots of good ones. Dogs, dogs, so many dogs. Which one will it be? Wow! There's the dog I really want. You're coming home with me. I love my dog. I knew he would. Applehans? Applehans?
Applehans.
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 The next book is Sparky by Jenny Offill and Chris Applehans. I want a pet. A bird or a bunny or a trained seal. My mother said no to the bird, no to the bunny, and no, no, no to the trained seal. I asked her every day for a month until she finally said, you can have any pet you want as long as it doesn't need to be walked or bathed or fed. I made her promise. Then I went to see the school librarian. Mrs. Kinklebaum, who knows everything in the world, pointed me to volume S of the Animal Encyclopedia. This is what I found. Sloth. Sloths have been known to sleep more than 16 hours a day. They sometimes hang upside down in trees, barely moving, for long periods of time. They survive by eating leaves and drinking the dew that collects in them. It is said that sloths are the laziest animals in the world. My sloth arrived by express mail. He was about the size of a medium-ish dog, with a flat nose and a monkey face. My mother wasn't happy, but a promise is a promise, I said. Sparky, I decided, that will be your name. I took him outside to his tree. Sparky went right to sleep. I made a sign and put it under the tree. Guard sloth, enter at your own peril. It was 2 days before I saw him awake. He didn't know a lot of games, so I taught him some. We played King of the Mountain, and I won. We played hide and seek, and I won. We played Kung Fu Fighter, and I won. We played Statue, and Sparky was very, very good. That weekend, Mary Potts came over to investigate. Let me show you what Mary Potts is like. This is a picture of her room. Excellence and permission slip compliance. Most likely to chew closed-mouthed in the lunchroom. Best fire drill liner-upper. Before she even took off her coat, Mary said, let me see your new pet. I had some worries, but I took her out to Sparky's tree. He opened his eyes and looked at us. Then he closed them again. I rubbed his belly, but it was too late. We stood there for a while, watching him sleep, his fur ruffled gently in the breeze. I feel sorry for you, said Mary. My cat can dance on her hind legs, and my parrot knows 20 words, including God and ice cream. Sparky knows tricks too, I told her, but she didn't believe me. The next day I made a poster and nailed it to the tree outside Mary Potts' house. Trained sloth extravaganza. Countless tricks to mystify you. Just 7 days away. All week we trained in secret. Sometimes Sparky slept through practice and I had to poke him awake. Sometimes he forgot what he was doing and we had to start over. Sometimes he took so long to fetch that I went inside and had dinner while I waited. I was starting to think the poster had been a mistake, but a promise is a promise. On the day of the trained sloth extravaganza, my mother set up lawn chairs. 3 people came to see Sparky perform. My mother, Mary Potts, and Miss Edwin, the crossing guard. Miss Edwin approved of Sparky because he never ran in the street. Do I look like a ringmaster? I asked my mother. You look very interesting, she told me. I put glitter I put a little glitter on Sparky just before the curtain went up. I kept wishing I had written 2 tricks on the poster instead of countless tricks. Play dead, Sparky, I said, and he did. Roll over, I said, and he didn't. Speak, I commanded. We all waited and waited. Speak, I said. Sparky looked at me. The only thing you could hear was the wind in the trees. He has a very pretty coat, doesn't he? Miss Edwin finally said. You can't just invent a brand new pet like that, Mary told me. A pet no one's ever even had. My mother came out with lemonade and cookies, but everyone said they had to be going. Sparky and I watched them. Then my mother made me put the chairs away. Afterward, I gave Sparky a cookie, but he ate it so slowly that I took it back again. It was getting dark out. I looked at him, and he looked at me. You could hear all the neighborhood dogs barking. I reached over and tapped him on his claw. You're it, Sparky, I said, and for a long time, he was.